As a seasoned critic with a penchant for the macabre, I find myself constantly in awe of Mike Flanagan's ability to weave chilling tales that resonate deeply within the horror genre. Having grown up with a fear of the unknown and a reluctance towards horror, it's fascinating to see how Flanagan, much like Dr. Louis Creed in his adaptation of King's Pet Sematary, has found a way to conquer his fears and create some of the most haunting cinematic experiences of our time. Mike Flanagan, who's renowned for producing high-quality horror content in both film and television, shares an unusual perspective. He wasn't particularly fond of horror during his childhood years. However, his perspective changed as he became a filmmaker, taking on projects like Dr. Sleep and the miniseries The Fall of the House of Usher. In a recent conversation with a Hollywood Reporter, Flanagan expresses a sense of disillusionment with much of today's horror cinema. Nevertheless, there are still a handful of films that send shivers down his spine. As a child, I wasn't ready for horror movies, confessing that they would scare me too much. However, that all changed in 1988 when the Stephen King's It miniseries aired on ABC, initially leaving me traumatized, but my interest ballooned over time, making me a fan of King's work, and now I'm adapting it to film. My recent production, you see, is based on a Stephen King novella and boasts Tom Hiddleston in the lead role. In a departure from fantasy drama, Mike Flanagan's forte lies in the horror genre. He has significantly contributed to making Netflix a go-to platform for horror with his works to mass, such as Gerald's Game, based on Stephen King's novel, and the miniseries The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Mare, Midnight Mass, The Midnight Club, and The Fall of the House of Usher. Flanagan acknowledges that it is uncommon for a horror film to impact him deeply, but he does mention two horror movies that still give him chills. Interestingly, both are foreign productions, Lake Mungo and Martyrs. Lake Mungo is a 2008 Australian horror film that was primarily distributed through streaming platforms rather than theaters. Despite its limited initial release, it managed to garner a dedicated fan base over time. The movie revolves around the aftermath of Alice Palmer's drowning at the age of 16. As mysterious occurrences start happening around the Palmer household, they embark on a journey to Lake Mungo in pursuit of the truth and an unusual ghost story. And enthusiasts of horror movies find the film genuinely unsettling, with many commenting on how Alice's ghost is present in multiple scenes without initially being noticed and can only be spotted upon rewatching. Director Jordan Peele of Get Out fame agrees, admitting that the movie gave him quite a scare and sent chills down his spine. He isn't the same life. At the 20th of jail escape, the film made him jump off the couch in fear. Combat authority. As he was 550 son, he was fine by my term. Lake Mungo is currently streaming on Prime Video, Tubi, Plex, and Freevee. The chilling French-Canadian production titled Martyrs leaves some horror enthusiasts unwilling to revisit it. This movie revolves around Lucy, Elaine Champenoy, a woman on a vengeful quest against the no individuals who abducted and tormented her in her childhood years. Alongside her companion Anna, Lucy uncovers that the pursuit of revenge could unearth horrors more terrifying than she's previously imagined. After the graphic scenes of brutal torture in the movie were more than its avid viewers can handle, and Flanagan explains while there's a lot of gruesome content, it serves a purpose. I don't typically enjoy excessive gore.
Paraphrase.
Martyrs is now streaming on Tubi and Plex. Upcoming horror director Mike Flanagan is set to take on a monumental task, reviving the iconic horror franchise, The Exorcist. Following the disappointing performance of the legacy sequel, The Major Model, and this right of The Exorcist Believer. In cinemas last year, Universal is looking to make amends by enlisting Flanagan
hoping he can put the film series back on its feet. Despite not making any promises, Flanagan assures fans that his new Exorcist sequel will be the scariest movie he has ever created. Flanagan.
The Life of Chuck is yet to receive a release date.